You know what that means, right? That right there? That means it's time for another FAQ Monday, number 20 to be exact. I cannot believe we've done 20 of these things already. It only seems like 150 or so. First question. Can you tell us which VSTs you used in binary metal, or just tell us about whatever you used to get such tone, because it is incredibly an epic one. For those of you who have not seen the video, Binary Metal is a video I did with my buddy Rob Scallon over on Rob's channel, where we communicate with ones and zeros in binary code and then play those riffs back and forth to communicate with each other. And Rob was using an 8-string and I was using a 6-string, and the tones came out pretty good. And for those tones, the only thing I used was Toontrack's Easy Mix 2 with the Metal Gods expansion pack, the one that has the cover of like Devin and Misha and Frederick. For the 8-string tones, that was a Frederick preset. And then for the 6-string tones, I believe that was the Devin Heavy tone. And that's it. And for the bass, it was a Devin bass as well. And it turned out pretty good. I did that on $10 headphones on my MacBook Pro at the time because I was under a super tight deadline, and I think it turned out pretty great. So if you want to go check that out, link in the description below. Have you ever lost interest in playing? How do you stay motivated? I have lost interest in playing, and that last happened back in 2005. Long story short, my band moved down to Los Angeles. We recorded a record at Sound City, and by the time we were done 7 months later living down there, some of the members weren't into it anymore. We had one guy quit, a couple of guys were drinking a little too much, and I decided to move back home. And what it took to get home was selling every single piece of gear that I have with the exception of my Strat. And I sold I got $200 for both of my Randall RG100 half stacks. And that was enough gas to get back home to Seattle. And when I got back, I was kind of weird about the guitar. And I was angry. And I didn't pick up the instrument for a year and a half, almost 2 years. I didn't even touch it, look at it, didn't strum a chord. I didn't do anything. I didn't have any passion for the instrument at all. And over time, it just kind of came back, and I heard, I don't remember what album it was, but it was, I heard an album that made me want to kind of learn it, and then I learned a couple of riffs off that album, and then it just kind of steamrolled back into me playing on a regular basis again. And as for how to stay motivated, it's just constantly listening to music and taking inspiration from life and finding the good in anything, really. There is always good in even the worst situations. And it took me a long time to realize that. But staying motivated is good, but taking breaks is good as well. So don't ever feel bad for taking breaks from the instrument. It's okay. What is your favorite tuner? Grover, Kluson, Spurzl, or else, and why? I've had to change tuners a lot lately on the guitars that I have been getting, because the first thing I do is usually I change the hardware on a new guitar, because modern hardware, stock hardware, is usually quite terrible. Even on the 2012 Gibson Les Paul Traditional, the Klusons were terrible. They were just awful. You would go to tune and the pitch would go up, you're turning, the pitch would go up, and then the pitch would just kind of stop and you're still turning, and it would just kind of stop turning. It was so weird. And that happened on like 4 out of the 6 tuners. And I was like, no, that's not happening. So I replaced them with my tried and true favorite tuner, which is the Grover Rotomatic. I keep always going back to Grover Rotomatics. I love the Schaller M6 as well. Schaller is a close second. But overall, I'm gonna have to say I love Grovers. Spurzls are really great and they look fantastic, but I think the gear ratio is too high for my personal taste. I like the Grover. I like a little less turn. I like a sensitive tuner. I don't like to sit there and turn for 3 days to get up a half step. I don't like that at all. So the Grovers just usually really work out for me, so Grover. You have good camera presence. Have you ever considered acting? I think you'd be a good actor. First of all, thank you. And second, when I was a kid, I actually really wanted to be an actor, and I could not cut it at the time because I had crippling stage fright. And I'm not talking like 16 or something like that. I was like 8, and I would go and audition for plays, but I never really liked the concept of plays. And usually when you tell your folks, oh, I want to get into acting, they take you to the theater and you learn your chops there in a lot of cases. And that was just never my gig, so I never pursued it any farther than that. But yeah, I would love to act in something. That would be awesome. Although I wouldn't have the time right now, but still, I would love to act. That would be a lot of fun. Hey Fluff, you record your own music. It has its own tone to it. Would you ever consider maybe producing other bands? Giving artists the Fluff sound would be very distinctive in my opinion. Yeah, producing bands would be a lot of fun, and I wish I had more time to do it. The reason why I don't do it more is just because I don't have time. But if I ever get to quit my job and do this full time, I would definitely be doing it more. And right now, I barely even have time to do mixed jobs, and I'm turning down a lot of mixed jobs. But hopefully in the future that will change, and I definitely plan on getting into more of the production and producing side of things. If you could pick any members to be in a band with, who would they be? That is a fantastic question, and for the parameters of this answer, I will stick to currently living people, just in case any of them are watching and want to actually start a band with me. So for drums, I would pick Dave Grohl, because he's one of my favorite drummers of all time, and I just love his style, and he's straight to the point. Close second, my second choice would be Braun Daler from Mastodon, but Dave Grohl. On bass, Rex Brown. I think he's one of the best bass players ever and can play anything. And if he can play with Dimebag, he can certainly play with me and my simple riffs. Co-guitarist would have to be Bill Kelleher from Mastodon. I think we would get along great because we're both super gear nerds. And for vocals, I would have to pick Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age. And I think that would be an awesome combination, and we would go into the desert and make awesome music. And I will not continue this fantasy anymore because then it just gets really twisted from there. At any rate, that is all my time I got today, guys. I thank you so much for watching. My name is Fluff, and if you have a question, please leave them down below in the comments, or you can hit up my AskFM account if you want to be anonymous. And until next time, I will see you later.